Alright guys, so we're back for another week of sealed only Yu-Gi-Oh! And as you can see, what I have before me is not actually, technically speaking, a sealed product. But as you will see in a second, it is technically sealed product. And this is one of those weeks where it's just a bit of like cheesing the system because, like, officially speaking, all my cards are coming from a sealed Konami product. And like, it is technically factory sealed, but not quite. And you'll be able to tell why very shortly. And beautiful. What we have today is Legendary Dragon Decks, Dimension Dragons. So, why did I have to buy this as the loose structure deck? That's easy. It's because to buy a sealed box, it's $60. I cannot afford $180 for what boils down to like 6 cards. But at the same time, this is by far the largest power-up my deck will ever see from a single opening. Oh, and this is back when Konami knew what they were doing. So there is actually a pull tab, which is beautiful, because I did not like that, just dealing with that in Starter Deck Yuya. But let's just check out what we got working here. So, the headliner, Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. An absolutely monstrous card. Like, just looking at it, it's just, one, it's just freaking gorgeous. Like, look at this art. That is epic. And its effect is ridiculous. When an Odd Eyes is destroyed by battle or card effect, special summon one Odd Eyes from your hand, deck, or graveyard. That does not say opponent's card effect. That does not say hand or graveyard. That says hand, deck, or graveyard. It's freaking ridiculous, and it's also just a scale 8, which makes it like amazing. This is why we have Summoner's Art. This is why we wanted Summoner's Art. This is it. Then Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, by far one of the best artworks for the card I've ever seen. It's freaking gorgeous. I love it, but at the same time it's a bad card. Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. This looks fire. Like, look at this. It looks so good. Like, he's been like reprinted in like every rarity but common, but he still looks so dang good. Like, beautiful. Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Another just beautiful level 7 synchro. Like, so nice. So nice. Dark Rebellion XE Dragon. He's actually one of my favorite cards. I don't know why. I just really liked him. And I like Phantom Knights a lot, but they kind of got cucked. You know, they lost Launch, they lost Bardish, just because they were too generic. But yeah, Dark Rebellion XE is always really cool. Another Pendulum Dragon. Supreme King Dragon, Odd Eyes, we will not be really seeing that card. We saw this card already in a higher rarity, and we will definitely not be playing a second copy. We might be playing Persona Dragon just to give the Arc Pen something to sort of go off of when it blows up. So there's 2 copies of that. Another Phantom Dragon. One thing about these legendary dragon decks is they always have really weird sequencing. And so, yeah, Mirage Dragon and Persona Dragon are actually pretty bad. Like, if you read these like effects, like, it is not great. Like, for example, this, like, protected once per turn while one is in your while an Odd Eyes is in your scales, or like once per turn if an Odd Eyes monster is destroyed by battle card effect, you can destroy 1 card in your Pendulum Zone and place 1 from your extra deck in your Pendulum Zone. Like, that's just not worth, especially if this is in the Pendulum Zone, because like that means you can't be using Arc Pen or anything. It's just not achieving anything. So yeah, we actually won't be playing Mirage at all. The only reason we can really use Persona is because it is a level 1 or scale 1, so it synergizes well with Arc Pen. Odd Eyes Light Phoenix. Honestly, all the Perform Pal cards just don't work. Like, Pepe was a thing because of Skullcrobat, because of those like OP cards that just let you search out anything, half of which still are floating around that we will be using. But just like Perform Pal, we're good for like the sake of having the consistency, little else. So we won't actually be handling Light Phoenix. If it will focus, yeah, that's kind of the same with Odd Eyes Unicorn. Like, we just can't get much use out of it. And like, it also just doesn't synergize. Skullcrobat has been dead in the ground for so long, and I miss him. I miss him so much. Perform Pal Rain Goat. We might actually be playing this just because it's really good spot protection. So like it just prevents destruction basically. And this is not the worst scale one. So we again might also be playing this because it can replace like one of our Drumarillas or something, because we do not want Drumarillas in our final profile. There's another Yugo Golem. And then Noble Dragon Magician. So she is not a great card. However, she does have one very specific use for us, and that is actually making Clearwing Fast Dragon. Now, what she does is she essentially can drop a Odd Eyes to level 4 so that you can synchro a level 7 with her. And so that actually lets us hit Vortex, drop Vortex to level 4, and use it to synchro off into Fast Dragon, and then later blow something up and use Arc Pen to revive Vortex. So honestly, it's not an unplayable strategy, and it's pretty fun, but it's complicated and we won't get it off a lot. So she is also another maybe, but Odd Eyes Gravity Dragon almost makes it worth putting a Ritual Engine into this, but not quite. It basically just bounces all spells and traps your opponent controls, and it's unnegatable. Like, it's spell speed 4. But it is... Oh, it's also a Red Eyes Flare Dragon, but it is also like a ritual card in a non-ritual deck. However, he's funny enough to justify it. Sky Iris. This is why Arc Pendulum Dragon is insane. So let's just get him out to chill in the spotlight too. How do I... There we go. Arc Pen. So, what Sky Iris does is I can blow up one... what the fuck is this? Okay. This whole protection effect is pretty cool, but still irrelevant. You can target what other face-up card you control, destroy it, and add one Odd Eyes from your deck to your hand. I think you guys can see why this is stupid. Because if you have, say, Odd Eyes Arc Pen in one scale, then Odd Eyes Persona in another scale, you know what you can do? You can blow up that persona of yours, search one, and special one from deck. Your opponent could only ash one of these. So, yeah, we will be maxing out on these as soon as possible. Odd Eyes Fusion, we will actually be running this just because it's a better fusion spell. Like, unlike Dragon's Mirror, it's not actively terrible. So we will be running this. Odd Eyes Advent, I'm thinking about testing out Gravity this week only, just because Gravity is really cool. And if we theoretically get Gravity out, like that's a flex. That's a pretty good flex. Spiral Flame Strike is another ridiculous card. If you control Odd Eyes, just pop one, or search a level 7 Odd Eyes. Again, ridiculous. And we have 2 copies. And next, Duelist Alliance. Ridiculous. We have 2 copies. Pendulum Impenetrable, that's pretty mediocre again. Like, they have some amazing cards mixed in with some terrible cards. Pendulum Storm actually doesn't work just because it says destroy as many as possible. So while this could be kind of cool in an Endymion mirror match, or like a Pendulum mirror match, I guess, where like, if you go against Endymions or another like Odd Eyes deck, which has a very small possibility of happening but can happen, you could theoretically use it to pop their scales, but it's not worth it. You can't get Arc Pen Dragon off of it because it blows up Arc Pen, and pendulum monsters pendulum cards are treated as continuous spells while in the zones, so they actually wouldn't resolve, which makes Pendulum Storm a very bad matchup for us. Pot of Riches, however, is not a bad card. Shuffle 3 pendulum monsters into the deck from your graveyard or face them to the extra deck, then draw 2 cards. Like, that's also just really good. Terraforming, we will play this copy because we need Sky Iris. Like, Sky Iris is the card, but unfortunately Terraforming is at 1 because of a certain mine. Echo Oscillation, it's just kind of cycling, but it's really slow, and like it's empirically worse than Sky Iris, which is also offering protection for us, so there's no reason to really play it. Pendulum Reborn, really slow, and we have 2 copies. Pendulum Switch is also really slow, so we probably won't be playing it at all. And then we get to the extra deck. Supreme King Starving Venom is banned. Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, we already have a shinier playset. And then we are left with these 5, we will actually not be able to summon Perform Pal Gatling Ghoul. Actually, would we be able to summon him? I think we can, but it's also not really worth it. Then I have never actually looked at Supreme King Dragon Clearwing, so I will get back to you on that one during the deck profile. I will probably pop in Absolute Dragon, but we'll just see if we can spare the space, because now our rank 7 engine, which a lot of you are telling me to use to get into Vortex, who is over here. So a lot of you were telling me to use him to get into Vortex, but the thing is I just couldn't get 7th in time. Like, it just was not happening. Like, I could not do it. But this time around, we'll give it a shot. Same goes for Meteor Burst. Or actually, we already had Meteor Burst, and I think that's actually our 3rd copy, if I'm going crazy or not. Actually, I am going crazy. That's our 2nd copy, and so we'll see if we can run him. And then, if it'll load. Okay, there we go. Supreme King Dragon Dark Rebellion. We might actually run this just because Harmonizing gives us so much access to the extra deck. It's ridiculous. Like, she is a freaking crazy card. And with this singular opening, we have essentially doubled or tripled our combat potential. Like, this is ridiculous. This is probably the best opening possible. Like, even though it's like I had to kind of cheese it just because I cannot afford $180 of these. And especially because like Mega Fleet lost a lot of its value, Infinities and stuff isn't splashable, so there's no real like interplay between the decks anymore, just because of the way the meta has shaped out, and Cyber Orchists aren't as much of a thing. They're a rogue contender to be sure, but at the same time, like, we are essentially doing the same thing as them, where they have their Infinity, we have our Vortex. So it's basically playing against a deck with the exact same end goal. And Cyber Orchists are all but gone now because a lot of them relied on Mermaid. Very few managed to actually pull anything off without Mermaid. I know because 3 of my closest friends played Cyber Orchist, and it was a time because I played Orchid Zombies. So, yeah, I'm not proud of it, but today we have had a very good time, and I will be back soon with the deck profile. And this time I'll actually record the deck profile before locals, so you'll probably see a cut somewhere. And that's just because I'm trying to resequence things, see how it goes out, because, I don't know, I just want to try to change things up, try to make things better for y'all, because this is like a learning experience for me. This is the first time I've done anything like this. Not the first time, but, still in the single digits. And I just want to say thank y'all. Like, I've gotten past 100 subscribers, and like, even though that's like a minuscule amount in like the long term, like when you're thinking about YouTube as a whole, like, think about what that number really represents. Like, I have entertained or brightened the days of over 100 people. That's crazy to me. Like, I'm just one dude. Like, I'm just one dude playing Yu-Gi-Oh, putting videos up on YouTube, hopefully getting enough views to eventually someday make some money back, because this is not a cheap hobby. And like, I'm just putting myself out there. You guys don't have to watch. You guys, like, if I was me, like, who knows? I probably wouldn't be watching my own videos. Like, just the fact that like I managed to entertain so many more people than myself, just like, I don't know, it makes me really happy, and I just like appreciate everything. Like, again, I'm just like an extremely small channel. Like, when you like see a channel like this, you're just like, oh, scroll by, like, it's nothing. But like, this is sort of mind-boggling to me. Like, I have made at least 130 people's days happier by the time I'm recording this video. So, yeah, just thanks for being here, and I hope you all have a good time. I will be back with the deck profile in approximately 3 seconds. Alright guys, so after a couple hours of playtesting and tweaking, I think I've put together a deck that's, kind of a good indicator of what we're actually going to try to, like, end up with, and a pretty good, like, starting, like, I feel like this is a more official starting point. So we have the 1 copy of Phantasma that we got from the manga. It's not a great card, but it is a scale 0, and it is an Odd Eyes card, so it just helps because of Arc Pen and Sky Iris. Next we have 3 copies of Odd Eyes. So I'm actually going to count these as part of the whole like 5 card from the original Structure Decks challenge, just because they're the exact same card. It's just rarity bumped and or art changed. So yeah, I don't think that's a major difference. Besides, I just don't want to stare at commons all the time. Odd Eyes Arc Pen, of course we're running him. Odd Eyes Phantom Dragon, of course we're running him, but we're not running more than War. He's actually a bit of a more questionable choice. I just wanted more Odd Eyes to trigger Arc Pen more, because Arc Pen is just a ridiculous card. We're running 3 chronographs because he's just really good for duck thinning, being out some field presence, and also pretty good generic scale 8. I'm running 2 copies of Persona just because we're running pretty low on low scales, and so Persona is kind of necessary. In addition, she's also a Odd Eyes card, so that helps a lot. Yugo Golem, another just kind of generic scale 1 that doesn't get like interrupted if it doesn't have like something that synergizes with it in the other zone. Because like a lot of the magicians have like the restriction where it only like has a certain scale if it's in the other zone. We're running Purple Poison and Black Fang, not because or their scales are fine enough, which is why I played an 8 and a 1, just because they can be used as scales and they're also generic. But it's primarily because of harmonizing right here, which we're running 3 of, because basically the whole game plan is to build an Odd Eyes deck with the Magician engine to get into the extra deck. It's because like magicians are just ridiculous for entering your extra deck and just pulling out whatever you need, just because of harmonizing. And so we're running 3 copies of her and then putting in some other cards for her to access so that we can actually access our extra deck. Time Gazer's at 2. It's kind of weird having him at less than Chronograph himself, but it's just like I don't actually want to see Time Gazer because he sucks as a scale. And so we just really want to put him onto the field and just get that field presence while also possibly triggering Star Pendulum Graph. We have 2 copies of Eccentric just because 3 was breaking me a lot during testing. And we'll just see how this goes because she's just recycling removal. I might actually even bump her to 1. We're playing Mirage Dragon at 2, also just because it's an Odd Eyes card and another generic scale. But we'll probably want to drop this as soon as possible for like a 3rd copy of Persona, maybe a 2nd Phantasma if I'm feeling saucy. And then our spells and traps can really be broken into 3 categories. All of these are searchers. We have Terraforming, Pendulum Call, Summoner's Art, 2 Spiral Flame Strikes, 2 Star Pendulum Graphs, 2 Sky Iris, and 2 Duelist Alliance. They are literally all searchers, all for the purpose of getting through our deck. However, I have been finding that Spiral Flame Strike specifically, wherever that is, Spiral Flame Strike specifically might actually be dropped soon, just because it only lets me search out level 7 Odd Eyes. So it's very specific because it only lets me get Arcpen or Arcpen, Phantom, or Original, and you never really want Phantom or Original. And it doesn't let me get Phantasma, which would be way more helpful, but it just doesn't work that way. Odd Eyes Fusion and Polymerization are there to make Vortex in case I can't get an Absolute out. Also, I took out Rapid Trigger and swapped it with Odd Eyes Fusion just because Rapid Trigger requires it be on your field, and I just find that like that was like a bit too restrictive, and that's why I actually kept Polymerization, because even though it's like very generic, it still works well. Cosmic Cyclone and Twin Twisters are just spell and trap removal. So those are 3 categories of spells, where it's just searching, spell trap removal, and fusion. Then traps, we have 2. We have 1 negate, 1 floodgate. So, like, this deck isn't the best in the world. You can get some kind of decent boards out though. And before we actually move on, I'm totally stupid. I forgot to go over our side deck. Our side deck is literally just 3 copies of Time Pendulum Graph. The reason we're running that at all is just because in case we run into an Orcus matchup, and I'm actually going to be buying new sleeves for this deck just because this is actually all of these blue Ultra Pro sleeves that I have. And so if we want to expand the side deck, we actually need more sleeves. So probably by the time you see me after the tournament, we will have new sleeves. Then for the extra deck, we're keeping Code Talker. And then by very popular request, we are putting in Underclock Taker. I don't actually get why you guys like him so much. Like, it was my second biggest request. It was by far my biggest request, followed by Zephra's, which was just questionable to me. Like, I'm not trying to like insult you or anything. It's just we do not have space for Zephyr engine at all in this, and so like I've tried testing it and like fitting it in. I just cannot. We're keeping Beauregard in because it's generic link 4. We're keeping Vortex at 2 just because I felt like dropping it to 1 might get risky in case I need to make another. We're keeping Borrelwood Furious just because now we have a lot more Dark Dragon, so it's a lot more summonable. We're putting in Starving Venom Fusion Dragon just because when we finally get Super Poly, he's going to be great, and then even right now, he's not a bad card on his own. Supreme King Dragon Clearwing is just a pretty fun rank 8 or level 8 that you can make really easily with harmonizing, and is also just like a really fun board wipe and just quick beat stick. Clearing Synchro Dragon, one of our more control-focused extra deck cards, kind of like Vortex but worse. And so he's still worth running, especially because he's so easy to get out. Warp Gate might actually go soon, just because we don't have the Magician actually needing to summon him using Harmonizing successfully. So he's actually kind of just chilling on extra deck right now. We've made him a couple of times, but it's really hard to do. Nyhmnim Paladin is chilling just because it's an easy level 8. Clearing Fast Dragon is remaining just because I really want to make him. He's so good. Like, I want to make him be more accessible. It's just so fun. Time Star Magician is just really good searching, so we have an insane amount of searching. We just need to find a way to get more power into the actual deck. But Time Star is just phenomenal. And then we're running 2 absolutes just because when that dies, we get the free extra deck summon of an Odd Eyes, which is going to be Vortex. And so I didn't want to change these ratios so that they were different. I wanted to keep as many absolutes as Vortexes, because I know full well that there's a very high chance that we just make 2 Vortexes and then use it to go into 2 absolutes 2 separate times to make it go into like a Vortex during the same duel. But yeah. That is the deck profile I'm heading into locals with, and then I'll try to capture some actual footage at locals, because that was one of our bigger suggestions, because I have actually read all of y'all's comments, even if I haven't responded to them, and I'm trying to take as much into account as I can. So thanks for being patient with me, and I will see y'all tomorrow, because this is Friday. What's up, guys? So we're back from locals, and as you can see, we kind of got a new deck box. I figured, actually this isn't even a new deck box, but a better deck box, just because I kind of figured that, this deck was really shaping up, earning its place among the Hall of Champions. So, yeah, we got this ultimate guard Sidewinder. My dog is, there you go, you saw his nose. But, yeah, we swapped out the deck box. This is actually what I used back when I went to YCS. And we actually swapped out the sleeves. And so now we have these beautiful white dragon shields. Like, just check it. It's so nice. But how do we do? That's a real question. And so, number one, I've seen this comment before and I just totally forgot to handle it. And that was, you guys wanted footage of actual locals. And I just showed up there and totally forgot. So, yeah. Like, I was actually thinking about how to, film this recap better. And that's, the number one idea that came into my mind, which is, I could film this at locals, have something more interesting in the background, have a changing background. But I totally didn't think to actually do that. And so here we are. I'll try to make this the last week at least that we do have to do a recap like this. But yeah, that was 100% my fault. And we managed to go 2-2 with the new improvements, because Arc Pendulum is insane and I actually misplayed, so we could have gone 3-1. I'm just not very good at this game. So what were our matchups? So round 1 we had Monarchs, and Monarchs surprisingly a lot better than I remember. Also, everyone recommended that I put in Underclock Taker. I don't know why. I never made him once. He was never useful in any scenario. Code Talker was always a better option. I kind of get where y'all are going, but I don't at the same time. But Monarchs got shut down by Clearwing. I penned Harmonizing, special summon Time Gazer. That's game for Monarchs. This is the first time I have let my dog stay in the room, so he's gonna just be popping in and out of frame. But yeah, so Clearwing just destroyed Monarchs. I managed to go 2-0 against them. And yeah, so that was pretty cool. Then round 2 we went up against Pure Orchist, and we actually almost got them because we went to round 3. But the thing was, the second round which we lost, or no, the first round which we lost, I actually made not a misplay. It's just the opponent made a very good play, where they essentially, I had Absolute out, ready to negate any attacks, and then if it was sent to the graveyard, I could just spin into a Vortex and then bounce whatever he was using. That way he couldn't recycle it from the graveyard using a symbol or anything. But he actually mind controlled away my Vortex and linked it off right before, at the very start. So I essentially couldn't negate anything, or I couldn't spin anything important, because he just outplayed me. That was a very good play. And then so yeah, that was totally my B. I lost that Orchist. Time Pendulum Graph, which is the one card in my side deck, and I keep it around specifically for if this will not explode out. So I actually keep this card around specifically for Orchist in my side deck. Basically, it just means like if a card would resist destruction, just send it to the graveyard. And yeah, I didn't actually see it, so I don't know how well it would actually fare. But it's obviously suboptimal side deck card, and it's just kind of there to give me an option. Game 3, we went up against Code Talkers. That guy sucked. Like, as a dude, he was awful. Like, every single time he made a board, he was like, I dare you to out this. Like, how will you ever out this? You are scum, you know, like, aha. And he's just like, oh, I'll send you to the Shadow Realm, whatever. Like, I get you're enthusiastic, but bro, like, you had to have basic courtesy. And so I ended up going to round 3 against him. I hit it all 3 rounds. We ended up losing because Code Talkers are a far better deck than most people give them credits for, and I just didn't have enough negates to handle them because they just combo like nobody's business. But yeah, it was just the worst. Like I'm not gonna name drop, but I hope I never have to play against them again. All right, and then game 4. How did I? Oh yeah, game 4. We went up against Cyber Angels, and we actually had a blast. And I actually made I made 2 synchros that I just barely ever got, like ever see, which were Supreme King Dragon Clearwing and Time Lord Progenitor Vorpgate. Just because like we were kind of dueling, then like I like put out Harmonizing, and both times I just kind of looked at my extra deck, was like, oh, these cards exist. And so we managed to actually have the perfect level lineup for Time Lord because we had a Chronograph chilling, and then a I think it was actually a White Wing, not Harmonizing, and then we made Supreme King with a Harmonizing, and so that actually like worked out, and we managed to wipe their board with both cards in 2 separate duels, and yeah, we managed to go 2-0 against them. So yeah, the Cyber Angels, like every other game that week, was just really nice. You know, like even like Orchis, which I hate as a deck, which you'll likely discover. Yeah, they're just like so linear, so linear. I used to play Zombie Orchis, and it was the worst time of my life. I liked playing Yu-Gi-Oh less, but yeah, this will be the last week. You guys just have to stare at the mat as I recap everything. I will keep the mat format as I like open packs and stuff, but yeah, coolio. I will catch y'all next week, and hopefully with like a better setup.